Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to cover more from the Rise of Skywalker novelization. Tons of tidbits in here that make the movie more fun and make you understand things that the movie didn't explain, because books can go into far greater detail. It really fills a lot of the points, though, like Palpatine being a clone. Like, we didn't really have confirmation of that, right? So, today's video is going to cover something that raised a lot of eyebrows, got a lot of people bent out of shape, and that is Force healing. And this, for me, was also a question, because I'm like, well, why didn't Obi-Wan just heal Qui-Gon? You know, Qui-Gon had pretty much the same wound that Kylo had, and Rey healed it no problem. So, what's going on here? Why didn't Anakin just heal his mother? And so on and so forth. You know, why didn't he heal Padme? So I'm going to get to that later in this video. However, today, right now, we're just going to cover this segment at the bottom of page 92 leading into page 93. All right, I don't know if you want to pause there and read for yourself, or we can read it together. So let's go. Yes, the serpent was, and this is the scene in the movie where Rey comes across the serpent. She's going to heal him or her, and we have seen this before by Baby Yoda. That was the first time we saw Force healing in the live action. Yes, the serpent was definitely wounded. A giant gash ran across several segments. She just had to reach it. Carefully, slowly, she climbed over the Vex's curved body until she stood within its coils. If it decided to kill her, all it had to do was squeeze. She spoke gently, to comfort herself as much as the snake. Leia says when something's trying to hurt you, it was usually hurt by something bigger. Like farm equipment, a grain farmer had probably rolled a tilling blade right across this creature's lair, flaying it open. Rey reached for the wound. The Vexus hissed, and she hesitated. But it didn't attack. Heart in her throat, she stretched her hand forward, touched the serpent's cool segments. She was acting on pure instinct now. Rey closed her eyes, reached for the Force. Whenever she fought, or leapt through the jungles of Agen Kloss, or even mind-tricked a stormtrooper into releasing her shackles, she channeled the Force, using it for her own advantage in some way. But this would call for a different technique, something she'd learned from the Jedi text when she was mending Luke's kyber crystal. This time, she would give. A hum resonated in her chest as she gathered something inside her, offered it up to the serpent, her own energy, her own life. It was part of the Force, too, and she didn't have to keep it all to herself. She felt the Vexus calming. Its pain was receding. After a moment, she dared to open her eyes. What she saw made her gasp. The wound had closed. The Vexus lowered its head to hers. It was so huge, it could devour her in a single gulp. Its tongue flicked out, and it hissed, blowing her hair back. A kiss of sorts. The snake uncoiled around her, leaving her free. It slithered away into the dark, forging a new path in the hard-packed sand as easily as if it were an eel swimming through water. When it disappeared, they could see a clear circle of sky. Poe and Finn exchanged a look. BB-8 rolled up to Rey, beeping softly. I just transferred a bit of life, Force energy, from me to him. BB-8 whirred. You would have done the same. Well, Finn said, we've got our way out. So, that is Force healing from the book in canon now. We learned that in order to use Force healing, you're not drawing upon the Force, you are using the Force from within. So your own Force energy, which comes from the cosmos, from the galaxy, and you are extending it outwards. You are giving it to someone. This also is explained in the book when she goes to Octu after healing Ben from that gash, and this is probably more interesting than this excerpt, but this one explains it better. That she was extremely tired, and she was very, very weak, so she needed to take a lot more time than we saw in the film than just, okay, let's get ready and go. She had to fix Luke's X-Wing. She took parts from Kylo's ship and transferred into there, rewired a lot of stuff, and, the S-foils, everything. She had to, she took the door from Luke's hut and put it back onto Luke's X-Wing, and she had to take a breather for a good while there, where it went to another part of the novel, another part of the movie, where she was resting because she said that she was too tired and weak from healing Ben, and that if Ben had died, she would have given all of her life to resurrect him, which is foreshadowing for what Ben does to her. Now, psychometry is something that only few Jedi can do. We've seen Cal Kestis do this from Jedi Fallen Order, and Quinlan Vos in the Clone Wars. psychometry is when you touch an object and you get visions of what this object has been through, where it's been, who has dealt with it, so on and so forth. We've seen this in some games as well, too. I'm forgetting the name of one horror game that I've played on the gaming channel. It wasn't Man of Medan. It was... Anyways, I digress. That's going to bug me now. Anyways, so I'm thinking, psychometry is so limited to Jedi. Not every Force user has psychometry, so maybe not every Force user has the ability to Force heal. And they have to learn it, and she learned it from the ancient Jedi texts from Octu. So perhaps all of this in conjunction with her having the power that Palpatine possesses because she is a Palpatine really makes you think, okay, well, perhaps this is something that is a little more rare. I don't know. I wish they would have explained it a little bit better because it does create a lot of plot holes for sure when you think about it. Like, why didn't Obi-Wan heal Qui-Gon and so on and so forth? Now, the Sith have a power like this, but it's called Force Drain. And I assume that's when you're just, again, thinking inwards and you're drawing on someone else's life energy to go into you. And that's basically, it's literally the opposite. So instead of giving your life energy to heal someone, you steal their life energy to heal yourself or make yourself more powerful. And the Sith, they think inwards, right? Which makes me wonder, why didn't Anakin do this for himself, when he was burning? Perhaps he was far too weak, and it was just his pure hatred to survive that was really keeping him alive at that point. I don't know. But that's Force healing from the book in canon now, so we understand how she learned it, how she did it, and how did Ben do it? Well, in the book, that's a good question. It describes that he did it on pure instinct, and it was something that actually Rey had taught him because they have this Force dyad. They're able to learn each other's Force powers. So when she did it to him, he picked up the power, and that's how he was able to do it. So that's a good thing. I just thought of that, and yeah. But that's actually written in the book at the very end. So hope you enjoyed this video. Have an awesome rest of your day. Be well out there, and may the Force be with you. See you guys and girls.